Where are you taking me? Because he's seen it. So he said, delay it, delay it. So what happens is that once you uh, put someone or myself in the grave, then whether I'm buried here or in Pakistan, inshallah, I would like to be buried in Pakistan. I will come to that, whether you are able to take the body in Pakistan or not on a different day. Anyway, so the body is placed in the grave, and then you do the mitti on it, the sand on it, and in England it's like a kind of a different environment, but sand is sand, and Pakistan is different sand. So then you bury them, and then you pray for them. And it is said in authentic hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said that you pray for your brethren, that he is going through the questions of Munkar and Nakir. So this is where the exam starts. So when you leave, it's actually said at that time, the Prophet ﷺ said, the dead body hears the footsteps of the people leaving him behind in the grave. So if he's a good person, he will say, well, thank God I didn't rely on them. I took my good deeds with me and I'm happy. And if he's a bad person, he said, oh, people, they're leaving me. I did so much for them. So there's no point, doing it. You do it for the sake of children. You do it for the sake of your wife. You do it sake of your parents. But you should not read namaz. You should not leave namaz. You read namaz and then do anything you want. But you should not leave it because you're working for children, because children are going to leave you in the grave and leave and take your money, and that's it. That's all they're interested. So this is why Allah warns in the Quran. This is why I say you should read the Quran with translation and try to understand what Allah says. And a true Muslim would be one who understands the Quran and acts upon it, and acts upon what the Prophet ﷺ said in authentic hadith. That is a true Muslim. Because there's no other truth apart from that. And that is the biggest truth that we have. A miracle of the Prophet ﷺ, the Holy Quran. Anyway, so when you put in the grave, the angels Munkar and Nakir, these are the most voracious kind of angels you ever seen. The most, difficult interrogators. When a person is arrested, it's arrested, and the criminal is arrested, for example. I always give an example of the police. These, I'm not talking about the Pakistani police, by the way. I'm talking about the British police here in the United Kingdom. So when they catch the criminals, I'm not talking about the American police. That is very racialist motivated police, and the best police I found is the British police. I know there are some issues with them as well, but they're human beings. Overall, the British police is very good, and so when they track down a criminal, and then they have these helicopters on it, and different people, and then they catch him, and then the criminal runs, and runs in different places and hides, and most of these kalas are there. Other people, these days our criminals, the prisons are filled with these mirpuris, and so they run away, they hide, and they catch him. In the same way, the angels they catch the soul like that. Yes, they catch the soul like that. So they just consider the body is a country, and he hides in different places, and then they catch him. Yes, and and then the person who's in charge will come and say, "Well, I'll take him out." So he's designated by the Malak al Maut, Israel Islam, that the angel of death. So sometimes he sends deputies to to collect the soul, if it's important. So important when he goes himself. So they catch him and take him to the prison and lock him up. And then these big, these interrogators, 6-footers or 7-footers come and say, hey, you did this, there's no one. Just imagine that scenario. And if you are invited by Queen Elizabeth, the elderly lady, she's 93 at the moment, and if she says, okay, I want to see Mr. Nasser Rashid on, say, for example, on next month. So a letter will come and will say, you are invited by the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, on 10th of next month, or 8th of August, or, say in December. We would like you to receive here, and before that we'll send officers. So the officer will come and check me, I'm not a terrorist, bloody blow up. They'll check me, that everything is okay, whether I'm a genuine person or why the Queen wants to see. The Queen knows that, but they just do the duty. And so they'll come and, a special motorcade will come and, honorably take me and say, okay, you sit here and the Queen will see you in 20 minutes and, they give you drinks and everything. So imagine that. Yeah, this is a worldly example to explain to you. Yes? So you have criminal running away from the police and the police catching him in the end. And you have an honorable person, a good person who is invited by the Queen. So similar. This is an example. Allah does what He suits His Majesty. Subhanallah. Allah subhanallah amma yushrikun. Allah is above all that what we think or comprehend. We can't comprehend or we can't imagine what is Allah like. It's nothing beyond human imagination. Whatever you can imagine is on Allah. That's why I say that the day the Dajjal or the Antichrist will come on earth, you just remember one thing. I always say you don't have to go to stories and listen to him, what he likes, what he does. Just say that Allah cannot come on the earth. Subhanallah. If you say he's God, just say God can't come on the earth. That's all you know. If you're just an ordinary Muslim, you don't have to be a scholar to know if Dajjal comes on the earth and he will say, because Allah will give him powers, that he is God. Then you say, well, God can't come on the earth. He's a fake. So you never believe him. Anyway, so this is what happens. So when the good person is about to die, then Allah, takes care of him and gives him a way easy for him. Subhanallah. Is the way, there's one hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, you'll die the way you live. I remember one of the speeches I heard or somewhere, someone told me that this guy was very interested in football. I was, interested in football. And during my time, when I was young, it was Alan Shearer. When I was a bit younger, it was Alan Clark and Norman Hunter. Leeds, they were top. But during when I was younger, it was Alan Shearer in the 90s. So there was a person who liked Alan Shearer. So he was always, watching football. And while he was watching football, he had a heart attack and they took him to hospital and he died. And before his wife says, before his death, he was saying, there's Alan Shearer, there's Alan Shearer. So I remember one of the hadiths that the Prophet Muhammad said is that you die the way you live. So if you lived a very, a good life, reading namaz and be good, then you'll die this way. If you lived watching movies, watching football, or watching filth on the internet, then you'll die that way. Is what the way you lived. You'll die the way you die the way you lived. And then you'll get up on the day of judgment the way you died. So if you died listening to the music, you'll stand up listening to the music. And then your abode is Allah knows, your destination. Because if you're accountable, if Allah calls you, and then that's difficult. That's difficult. May Allah protect us and make my, day of judgment passing easy. And for every one of you who are viewing this video. So that's what's happened. So they make you sit up, and this exam is for everyone. Even I say to you in one of the videos that my favorite is Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyallahu Ta'ala. He was the most pious and most just person. And he was so much, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said if there was a prophet, then if there wasn't, then Umar would be. And another authentic hadith that if Umar goes in one alleyway, the shaitan runs the other way. He was so just. He asked the Prophet ﷺ in an authentic hadith that, when we are placed in the grave, would we be conscious? Listen to what he said. Subhanallah, his wisdom. And the Prophet ﷺ, yes, you will be conscious. And he said, when the Munkar and Nakir, those two, those scary angels come to me, when they ask me, Man Rabbuka, Man Dinuka, Haza Rajul, who's this person, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or who was sent to you as a prophet, then he said in the Hadith that, Ya Rasulullah, when the Munkar and Nakir ask me, I'll say, hang on, mate, you tell me Man Rabbuka, Man Dinuka. He said, hang on, mate. You tell me who's your Lord? What is your religion? You asking me, Umar? I'm asking you, what's your religion? What's your deen? Who's your Rabb? Who's your Prophet? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Subhanallah. And these great men, look at them where they are buried. Subhanallah. A great testimony for their greatness and their closeness to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And don't buy that, that Hazrat Ali Karamallah was using not there. Hazrat Kalimur Raja is his family, so he can be anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Some people, say that he is close. No, these are closeness. So family is always, so no matter where I am, my son is always with me, or my children are always going to be with me. Alhamdulillah. So if some friends are with me, that doesn't mean that, this shows, again, the family is something different. Family is something different. Family is family, whether you're with them or not with them. So in that sense, the angels will come. These are the most terrifying angels that you'll find. You must be prepared for that. This is not a book story. This is not Walt Disney. This is not like a movie. This is not Hollywood. I always say this is not Hollywood story. That this is not Harry Potter. So when you are in the grave in real form, as you are now, so you say, for example, you died of cancer, you died of kidney disease, heart attack, anything, your limbs are broken or anything, and as soon as you enter the grave, you're fine. You're restored back to your original form, subhanallah. That's all it is. You're only here in the body, and as soon as you put in the grave and the sand is put on top of you, then you're fine. You got no pain. Oh, excuse me, I've got pain. I've got no. You're fine. You stand up, and then these, your good deeds will come up now. A beautiful man will come. A beautiful person will come in a shape, and you'll ask him, "Who are you?" And he say, "I'm your good deeds." Then the Surah Mulk and Surah Alif Lam Mim Sajda number 32, if you read it, they'll come like, and protect you like a bird protects her kids or her offsprings. So that's how they will protect you from other side. And the angels, and some of these, it says that the person will say, I need to read the namaz, and it's I've read it somewhere. I don't verify it whether I've read it somewhere or is one of these, but I've read it from some of the scholars' comment that it will be Maghrib time. So I always give, because Maghrib is a special namaz. That is the only namaz that begins the Farz. So I find it, very special namaz, because all the other namaz you have to do sunnat. In Fajr you have to do 2 sunnat. In Zohr you have to do 4 sunnat. In Asr you have to do sunnat or not. But Farz, it starts Farz. And same way the Maghrib namaz starts with the Farz, and the Isha namaz starts with sunnat. So some say that he will say, some of the hadiths have been quoted, they have a weak link. But just to understand, the person will say, I need to read namaz. And they say, hang on. I'm talking about the interrogation of a good person. You say, hang on, we can understand that, but can you sit up? The most terrifying and most scary angels you'll find in the heaven. They are specially meant for this trial in the grave. And it's real. The Prophet ﷺ said, he mentioned in hadith, and he used to read in the namaz, Allah mani a'udhu bika min azab al-qabri, wa a'udhu bika min fitnati al-dajjali, wa a'udhu bika min fitnati al-mahya wal-mamat. Fitna of death and life. And azab al-qabr. Always he said it. It's emphatic of these. It's real, and Allah mentions in the Quran. Alahakum at-takasur hatta zurtum al-maqabir. Qabr is mentioned in the Quran. So qabr is that. I will come to the one that say were died in accidents, on plane crashes and in oceans, boats and ships. That's a different hadith, and I'll say it. There's one hadith that this man in say Bukhari, say Muslim, was he committed so many sins. He asked his children to, can you when I die, can you burn me and throw my ashes to different places on the earth and the waters, and I don't want you to bury me in a grave. So after his death, he done the sons did the same. They burned his body, got all his ashes, bones, crushed them, and to throw them in different places. Not in one place, in ocean, in mountains, in earth, everywhere buried it. And the day of judgment, Allah called him. Allah ordered the wind, the earth, the oceans, and his body is formed. And he is in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'll say, why did you do that? He said, oh Allah, I was scared of you. I knew you would, get me alive when I was dead, but I didn't think that if I were to burnt and my ashes scattered, that you wouldn't be able to do that. And Allah asked him, why did he do that? He said, I was scared of you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah forgave him, subhanallah. Because he was partially right. He believed that Allah will ask him the questions, but he didn't think that if he were to cut into pieces or burnt and then buried into different places, then he wouldn't come back. So this is an answer for those who claim that, what about those people who die in air crashes or burn in fire or beyond recognition, or they're not buried in graves? This is a correct answer. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got all the answers in the Quran and the Hadith. So Prophet ﷺ has completed it. It's just that you don't read it, and obviously you have your ideas, and people then give their own imagination, and then people go astray. So that is the reason that those who die in air crashes or other flights, M17 flight, from Malaysia to China or other places, they have died. So Allah will bring them back and deal with them accordingly. These are exceptional cases. It doesn't happen every day. So the qabrs are there. This is a normal procedure. Exceptions are there. Same way they will make you stand up and say, "Man dinuka." So man dinuka, you'll be scared, and you'll say, "Oh, my deen is Islam." How did you learn Islam? Then man rabbuka, who's your Rabb, and haza rujul, who's your prophet, or what do you say about the person who was sent to you? And you say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the fourth question, you see, this is where the Maulvis have got it wrong. All the Maulvis. I'm not really. Most of the Maulvis have got it wrong. They say in all the books that you read, there'll be three questions: Man dinuka, Man rabbuka, Man dinuka, and then they'll ask you who's your messenger was, and you say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The fourth question is, if you get the answers right, as in normal cases, when the student gets it right or someone gets it, and you'll say, where did you find this answer? Just you know it, but you need to know, well, I didn't get it right. How did he get it right? And where did he get this answer from? In an exam in universities, many times it happened to me that I always ask, where did you get this answer? My friends, when I was studying. So the fourth question will be, this is the fourth question. You must read all these books, say Bukhari, say Muslim, all these. I'll give you the references, and you can download it on the internet. It's quite easy now. I don't have the PDF form. I've got those old translations which I bought in the 80s. Obviously, there are new versions, and a lot of books have translated. I had, at that time, Musnad Ahmad was not translated, and Musannaf Ibn Shayba, other big books that I was looking for, was not translated. Maybe they are translated now. But at that time, it was only Muta Imam Malik, which is the first one. And then we have Musnad Ahmad, then we have Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Jami Tirmizi, Sunan Ibn Nasai, Ibn Majah, Abu Dawud. Those are six books. The two ones, Sahih, they have got this stringent kind of way to where the ummah or nation or the consensus of ijma is that these are the correct books, and because their way of verifying that this is very good by Imam Muslim. And believe it or not, all these Imams of Hadith are non-Arabs. Subhanallah. Imam Bukhari is from Russia. I always tell my friends, tell Putin that he's from Russia. Imam Muslim is from Iran. Abu Dawud is from Khorasan, Afghanistan. Abu Dawud, Tirmizi, Ibn Majah, Ibn Nasai, all these are non-Muslim. Therefore, Khorasan. Some say one of them is from Balochistan side, because at that time was Khorasan. So these are all non-Arabs. The Imam Malik is an Arab, so that's the first one. The most authentic books are non-Arabs. Subhanallah. So in that hadith, it said that they will ask you Man rabbuka, Man dinuka. After that, the fourth question is, the angels will ask you, where did you learn it from? And I will say, I learned it from the Quran, I learned it from the Hadith and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this is how I followed it, and this is how. And they say, okay, well, then, and there will be a voice from the heavens, and my servant has spoken the truth, and then open the window from Jannah so that he can have the air. So this is where the air will come. Remember, this air you can breathe. So you are a human being now. The air is coming, you know, this pipe that you see, the air is coming, air condition. This is your air condition. This is the air conditioning that come in and you see it. And in some of these they say, okay, you sleep like sleep like a bride. You know, when the bride is the first day, you sleep like that. She's like a princess, so you sleep like that, or you'll feel the air from the Jannah. And they'll also show him the window from hell first, that this is was your place if you have not spoken the truth, and you'll be scared, and then they show you this is your place. So this is then the soul is connected to it, and then as in sleep you toss and turn, as in Surah Qaf, you toss and turn, and your connection is in the real world now, and then you get all